but also we push politics. And so in that sense that the political is personal, not only the personal is political, was women knew we have to change politics. And that means we have to reach those who make those stupid decisions. And we reach them by two ways. One of them is by direct intervention as citizens. And this is why, for instance, I wrote a brief on fallout monitoring, which resulted in the availability of the government data, which were not available and which replicated itself later on a number of briefs that we wrote, including our intervention in Suffield on chemical and biological warfare, that what was there became more transparent. But in addition, our questions forced, particularly on the fallout monitoring case, the government to extend its own scientific activities, because we had shown where the gaps were. So there were these beginning moments, very much as a textbook example as one sees it now, and we certainly didn't perceive it like this. We just did what seemed to be the most necessary thing to do. That involvement of other women, that involvement in the substance of the issues, so that we were more than ready to say, what would we do if we made the decision? And the movement part, the part to say, now get on with it. And when you ask, how is it possible that an organization did so much in such a short time, and there's a lot more that we could say, but I don't have the time for it. And Marie will refer to one instance on interventions at NATO, the fact that women went there. And I hope you talk to each other and hear, for instance, from Madeleine Gilchrist on her activities of Women for Mutual Security, that got the Warsaw Pact with them in the place of the NATO meetings, and saw them. There are others. They have a contribution to make. They have something to say. How is it possible that we went to Suffield, where Douglas and I argued in Suffield with the chief about the wrongness of Canada financing research on chemical and biological warfare. And we gave them a good run that where Muriel had a strong, clear moral citizen position. And I could check them out if they fed us nonsense on the scientific end. And they weren't the same after that. But that, you can ask, how is it possible that that could be done? And part of it is the movement part. It's the fact that very little time was spent on organization stuff. There wasn't any fuss about hierarchy, but there was the hierarchy of competence, of willingness, and it certainly wasn't a harmonious or peaceful thing in the sense of everybody loving everybody. But the sense of urgency, the sense of respect, and the willingness of letting people use the talents they had for a common purpose, an incredible openness to what people actually were inclined, able, and competent do. So I could produce my science as others. There's political savvy. There is a long involvement with Quebec women, our part in the bilingualism and biculturalism. And as I wind up, a wonderful quote of Solange Chaput-Roland, who enraged after being met by the then Foreign Minister Howard Green on a peace train that in and of itself would be a subject of a conference. Solange said, the minister came, spoke to us 20 minutes. He said nothing. He said it all in English. To allow a group of women to use their talents without rank to what they could do best, gave it a vitality and a degree of ability to cope and do new things that essentially is a testimony that the world can run like this if one, in the sense of common purpose, allows and accepts the gift of each and every one as a gift to the common good. And the common good for women is peace. And peace includes, as it does in our Constitution, good government. And we were at a point where we said our government isn't what it should be. But for us, the alternative to bad government or inadequate government is better government. So the voice of women, and this is my final bit, became also the seedbed of a number of activities fed citizenships by those who try to run for public office. I once looked at the appointed human rights commissioners in the provinces when that became part of the political agenda. There was the first human rights commissioners in, I think, every province of this country were women, and they all had been substantive members of Voice of Women, who in fact learned some of their practices there. The environmental movement was immensely fed and enriched through the contacts with people like Rosalie Bertel, who shaped the life of Dorothy Golden Rosewood. The politics went to what Madeleine did in large measures over many years at the UN and for the women for mutual security. So these women and the combination of being a women's peace movement became a substantial seed. And there are lots of other things we talk about the visit of the Soviet and Vietnamese women, our stance on nuclear disarmament, because into the movement also comes the pedagogy of demonstration, as it does the pedagogy of letter writing and confrontation. And with that, I think I turn over to Martha, who will give the view from the ground and on the next phase, but mostly, I think, whether we have time in the formal part or not, Martha is the one who reaches into the presence in her work with students in school. So that's yours.